Well, as you can see, I am in the living room at home. Here is the plate of this painting that has taken the photos with the phone. And what I am going to do now is going to be to use those photos that I took with the phone and put them on the curve and take them images that these components give us. Although I already have 3 photos I have from both sides and with the cutouts so that we can see more or less what the subject is about. Now I am going to launch the turbo drag program. And what I am going to do is create a new project. Here I have what is the hub with it with all the captures that I have finished when I am going to capture. Common what we are going to do in this case, I am going to save everything dry in the main directory of the computer. Then everything is going to be a lot better. I'm not going to use any mouse, it's just the touchpad of the computer. And the only thing I'm going to have is by USB, well there. Yes, only the microphone and the curve drag. And now the computer. To take the photos that I can already disconnect because it's either with photos. Well, we continue now. It doesn't show us anything because the last time it shines I used it with the USB. If I connected the USB now, surely it will show us everything. There is, let's see, this is not the USB that had it connected before, but come on to try if it takes us. I don't know if the letter will be changed or not, because the letter is not changed. And there they have appeared. I have connected the USB in another port and automatically the image files have been loaded. Change the directory. Well, I open it and it is in the folders, then it is the one that, and well, here I have the test, the last unit that captures. So now what I want to do is a new project, as I have already touched on these projects here. What I have to do is go back to, at least this is the main menu, and since I am going to create a new project, I go to the tab here, the penultimate one, the new curve project. I am going to put the name, this is a table. Well, this is 11 to 2 telephone seat Ibiza. And this is from 97. And here I am going to put a table. If I have the reference, well, as the reference I will put more data for tomorrow if I have that. If I have to test one of these, what I'm going to do is look at the reference number. I only have this piece and I don't have anything else. I mean, I don't know what number it is, otherwise I'd put the reference number here. So now I'm going to give it to you to create a curve, and now what is going to open is for me to select the images. Now I am going to have to select the photos that I take to create the project. I have already put them on the desktop, so they are here. Now I don't remember which one it was, but I think this, it doesn't matter a bit, it Seems to me that this last one is from the complete frame. So I'm going to select this image. And I have it, as we can see. I don't know if it's okay in square. More things came out than a table had. To achieve the framing, so what I am going to do it, I am going to move the image. It must move up to the upper plane on the left. And more or less now I am going to cut it. Then with this one from up here to the edge, along the entire bottom part. As we see the photo, it has not stayed with me very well in square. This the better the framing, the better our finished project is going to be. If you look here at the connector, you can't see this part very well. Yes, it seems that the one that is closer, and here it sort of moves away. No, here I don't know, start to distort the image. Then. And that's it, I've got it ready then. Now I'm going to add the other image, and I'm going to add the image here. This would be to rotate, or if we want to rotate the image, this backwards or forwards is a little step backwards. For choose another photo. Imagine that you want to do only one. Because this is not what you are going to, the other would be to add in the image. Now it asks me where I want to add it. So here, the first button is for the previous one is to go back to the core, take the photo. I don't want to go backwards, I want to add an image, so where then add an image below or to the right, that is to say, here below any side. I'm going to add it below. I'm going to make them all the same. Well, I don't know the last photo which is the one in the box as it will have been, but well, the boy, I'm going to put all below, add below. I'm going to go to the next photo. And now I'm going to do it. I'm going to move it up a little to the left. And cut the one on top short on the right. And with this other one I am going to cut from below. More or less I have more or less the same number of squares, that is, the one for framing this. I think it is even. So now here we have the rotate button in case we want to rotate the image, and we go to give to insert. Well, for very little they were not the same perfect. Now what I am going to do, I already have both sides of the painting. But we still do not know how it is physically as well as its aesthetics, and that is what I like to put. See how is the painting, what are the spheres and others. Then I am going to add it below so that more or less I have the same line. Add below, and I am going to select this other image, and I am going to give it selected. Because I am going to upload it the same up to the top plane, I took this photo only to show NASA, thinking that I was going to use it for this. That's why it's totally square framing. Here it's on the edge and here it's not. But it doesn't matter because we're not going to do this to occupy as images. Is only to see how I know what it looks like. And besides, it is dirty, it is all dirty. I am going to insert it. Well, we are going to rotate it, for example. And it was not paid. Here it gives me the degrees. How many degrees do I want to rotate it? Well, why not? I'm going to turn, if I don't put 90, for example. 90 degrees, I'm going to put it upwards. 90 degrees, turn 90 degrees, they will direct 90 degrees. There it is. And here the inclination of the inclination. I have cut. To insert. More or less it didn't remain more or less Paris. Now I'm going to end the addiction, and that's it now with this at this point. We can start capturing. Continue. Now I'm going to capture only one driver. In this case I'm going to capture this one here, there. 14 legs, and well, let's go to do what we were interested in. As we see here in the photo, it looks too small to select it, and the rest is a bit complicated, so I'm going to use the zoom here, and I'm going to start clicking on the image by moving the cursor and doing click so that it zooms in on the part one need. I'm taking it. And this is the result. Now I can't mark it. It's the pin that I have doubts about. It's the next one. I'm going to mark it, so now I'm going to mark it. Press the left button. Drag. Then drag, and more or less I'm going to see that it stays more or less symmetrical. I like it better if it's symmetrical, all square, all German style, so I'm going to look at the east part up here and this side, and that it stays the same for me here. There is more or less. I have it now loose, and the cursor moves it, and that's it. Now it tells me to select pin 1 up here. As we see it, click on pin 1 with the correct point. The front part, well, the one is this, and he selected it there. Ready. Now what we have to be clear about, we have to be clear about which is the negative of the entire board. What is the ground? Then it is always here in the connector. Let's see what the ground is. Look, I think mass. Five. I think it's the 5th. I think it's the 5th. In this case, soy, I have the alligator. It was the 5th. Complicates way. Not to bite any other, even difficult. The alligator here, you're not going to laugh at me. I have this other. And another that he has. A cane. A little. Good, I don't know it. S very big. He has to look for another one. And here I got a little piece. I'm going to put here, we said it was the 5th. There it is. I already have it there. Now if I return something, I return to the Cayman, and here in the Cayman, well, here. Now here I am going to select edit. And it is going to ask me what this is. And now I am going to give it edit point. And here we are going to put the name. This is an AQ. (2004). This is the name that will appear at the bottom. It is not the one that is going to take as primary, then this other. The ID of the component. In some of the old boards, around where the component is, that goes on a white square. In theory, it usually has a number. For example, this would say and C5 widget 1. Here that this is a diode, I would put a D with the number that corresponds to 1. Then in a list it is, for example, 1. That corresponds if it is a 1 meter 40074. Example, just as I did 1, it would be this is a whole 2004 to not then in the list. It would appear like this now today. That yes, it is no longer used, it is no longer catalogued in this way, Sarov. Course here the leader of the component I what I usually put or more numbering, or I put the same, just put well the 2004 AQ. Also what we could do for example that we have several equal components like this one, and we are going to do the same thing, because what I do is select, that is with the left button, and drag the mouse, then I click on the right to copy data. There it is saved in the computer's memory. Then I click where I want with the left button, I click the right button, and it will give it. There I have it. Here goes some observation. For example, this one that controls this component, here I can put that it controls the light of I don't know, that the light of I don't know how much, that is also that for so much. What seems convenient to me, put for me in the next future. How many pins does this have? 16. Then it has 16 pins ready. In the next step is up here, edit curves normal mode. One click. There we have ready. There we already have the system ready to take the curves, to take the images. Then using channel 1 of our equipment, without touching the plate, we are going to support the plate somewhere that is comfortable for us, so we don't have to touch it. Because if we touch it, maybe with the static from our hands, we can interfere with the signal. But before that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to check that this mass is okay with what else to compare it with, that of a capacitor. So I'm going to click here on a capacitor in the negative, and we see a line. Right touch here, and we see a line. It's not true. What other way can I verify that this mass is good? Well, look. Now we already have it like this. Back, I shouldn't have to leave here. I'm going to take the curves. This is going to be, it's going to be poorly done. I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to serve so that not only well that you want to leave, it will be marked but without curves. Save and close. Yes. Now I'm going to go to the impedance test. Now I'm going to calibrate the leads. I'm going to calibrate the short circuit point. I already have them together. No. And it's taking the sample. Well done. Now I'm going to click on the AC negative, agreed. And I am going to record the ranking by a test name. And here I got the ranking 0006, and if I put it here, I am going to name it. And there is a difference, because that difference is the contact. I was making bad contact here, but we see that it's good. Then I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back to my Seat Ibiza project. The edit curve box. I'm going to select edit. I click on the point component, and here I'm going to put the same thing, but since I already have it in the computer's memory, and here they were 16 pins, The mass I already know is good. I am going to support here. Well, here I am going to mark myself, for example. Save with the pin that is to say me first and supporting the tip on pin 1 and there. We have an image now. I am going to position the cursor mouse, over the pin and with the left button. I'm going to click. So I had captured pin 2 today, pin 2. In the image is downloading here. It will be stabilize, stability and capture. Pin 3, pin 3, wait, stability is okay. Yes, I capture pin 4. It stabilizes. Capture. In 5. It stabilizes and capture. Seven. If we are going to use a mouse that is with the USB cable, it will be much better. Let's hope the stability there is fine. Be careful with touching the plate. Let's not touch the plate. It is not because we harm us, but because we are going to have an erroneous capture. Perhaps in this case nothing is changing. In some cases, if it stabilized and capture. And capture. Two. Stabilize. It continues downloading. Music. 14. Capture. This pin, I have it marked there. On 14 this a lamp is going to activate me. What is happening here? Here are two things, because first the problem may be this component that is not activated. It may be that the signal does not reach them, so that this component does not activate, that the output is bad, or that it comes from further back, that is not from this driver itself. But now, since he is the one who acts on the lamp, is what we are going to look at first. Then we are going to see who works on him, who sends him, and when he sees, let's see who sends him, and everything is fine, so we see who sends the other. That is, there is always someone who sends, they always arrive, who sends. Then I am going to save and close, because he is already captured. Everyone here tells me 16 of 16. Now I am going to save and close, and there I have captured it, because I am going to do this system with all the other components that I want to capture. I always recommend capturing those that are the pins, those that have more pin stress, that is, from 3 pins onwards, because 2 ends are resistors, diodes, capacitors. You are not going to have a 2-pin transistor, for example. Yes, maybe it has a base, and the base is going to be soldered to the plate, since that base will be one of the pins. Then it will have 3, they We'll have two more that other one. That we need the most, well, nothing else is missing now. What I am going to do, I am going to save. And save now, like this screenshot. I am going to pass it on to a colleague. What I am going to do, I am going to compact the curve. Then frame gave, check the quality, put well. He smells like 2004. 2004. That is the one that is. The one that is captured not. Now I take that mail and that's it. He can decompress it and save it in his list. Then you say how it will be. Let's go back to the menu. I'm going to change seat Ibiza 97 frames. I'm going to change the directory. I'm going to put the directory in what is the USB. Select the folder. This is alphabetical. That is, if here it is a 1, it will put the number 1 here, but how is the CD is going to continue everything, then it will be in the S seat Ibiza. That is it. Is a voice. Okay, here it is not so me, for example. Now in the downloads folder it is not my case, but the person who is going to receive it, it will have the download folder because it has been downloaded from Gmail, for example. I am going to go to the directory where it is. Then the person goes to the downloads. What I am going to do, I am going to do it more. I am going to do it a little better. I am going to come here. I'm going to take this ES, the file that is going to have the copy. I am going to put it here in downloads. So we simulate that it has been downloaded from the mail. Okay. It is not here, it is. Then I am going to import curves in import mobs as continue by mail and downloaded by mail because you download it. Here it must be opened. It will arrive when it gives me the little sign to accept that it has already been decompressed. Because it will be put here. There it is imported correctly. So now when I click on it, it will automatically appear here where the files are seats. Okay. And here is added the test of curves with memory selected here already by default appears. The selected the driver and open and try. And now we have left. You can try this. There it tells us that it is fine. Then we go to the next number 2. And he tells us that it's okay. We go to the next number 3. It's okay until the end. There's one thing we didn't do. And what we didn't do was mark where the dough is. Cry. This man is going to receive this capture and he will say okay, and the mass where I put it because I verified that it is good with the impedance test on a capacitor. I proved that this mass is good, so it is pin 5 of the line below. What I'm going to do, well, I'm going to go back. I'm going to edit the curve. I'm going to zoom in on it, on the connector. So it was 5. It S on the nerve. And it falls on us. I'm not sure if the photo would have been better squared. It would be fine, but we are going to count it from here to here because it is the one we see. It is 10. Now I am going to hit the earth here. I am going to mark it. I move here. I see the point. I eat there and ready. Now maybe we are going to resize. It is not very clear what it is, the mass, right? Then what I am going to do, I am going to put a note on it, but we are going to see if we can see which is pin 1. Okay, it is pin 5 indeed. Then what am I going to do? I am going to insert text here. Insert text here. I am going to put the name. I'm going to say, I'm going to put QUE. The CMD ND is pin 5. I am going to set the size to a size of 70. And put here color that, or for example I have already used this. Put blue for the text and orange for the background color so that it stands out. And now where I'm going to put it? I'm going to put it here where there's nothing. I put it, click Save marked. Ready. Then now he'll know where it falls more or less. I grab the plate and he's going to know that the genre has to put it there, and then he's going to test the component. Now we have finished. Now what we would need is to capture everything, and we would have one more project left, perhaps. The time invested is not worth it only in this frame. But maybe so. Because you can weld a resistance to a component, and perhaps we will have 34 frames of these there, and of the 2 or 3, well, we can make one a repair one, which would be more convenient than going to the scrapyard to open it, read the catwalk from one to the other. But well, that has been all.